Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to come on and give you a look at my writing journal for NaNoWriMo. So this is my writing journal. It's basically a TN. It's a B6 Slim TN. I actually made this myself, so I don't know how true to the B6 Slim size it is, but that is what I call it, B6 Slim TN. And I basically set it up to be my writing journal to help me through NaNoWriMo. So if you don't know, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month, and it happens every November. And every November I think about doing it, or I actually try to attempt to do NaNoWriMo, and it never works out. Like I never do NaNoWriMo, or like I'll start it and yeah, and then I just stop. So basically the whole goal of NaNoWriMo is to write a novel in a month. So write an entire novel in the month of November, or write 50,000 words, which is roughly a novel. So basically the end goal is to write 50,000 words, which means you would have to write, I think, oh my god, I don't remember the exact number. I think it's like 1,776 words a day. So it's something around there. You have to write that many words a day in order to reach the goal of 50,000 words at the end of November to basically win NaNoWriMo. And I think the closest I've ever gotten to actually winning NaNoWriMo was, I want to say 2013, and my story, I ended up writing 20,000 words, so I didn't exactly fail, but I didn't exactly win either, and I haven't actually written anything for that story in quite a while. So yeah, so this year I have this idea in my head for a story, and it's been festering in my head for a while now, and I feel like maybe if I try to do NaNoWriMo, or it'll help me get into the habit of writing a little something each day. It doesn't have to be the 1,000 whatever word count that I need to get 50,000 words at the end, but maybe it'll help me get into the habit of allotting time out in my day to sit down and write a little something, anything, for this story that's been in my head for, I want to say, months, or like almost the entire year. I don't even know, but it's just been in my head. And I have written down things, like I'll show you when we get into this. I show you that I have like a section where I brain dump, and so like I have notes and stuff for that, and I actually started writing the first chapter because I've learned that I am a pantser instead of a plotter. So what that means is a plotter tends to plot out their entire story, they have an outline, all this stuff. I like to write from the seat of my pants. You know, I just like to go in, new fresh doc on Word, and just start writing. And I don't know what it is, that's how I get into the flow of a story or like an idea. I don't know what it is. So I've already done that. I've already written my first chapter. I've sat down and like I actually have like bits from a different chapter too. Like I just kind of started writing just so that I can get into the flow of the story and like the character's voice or whatever it is. And then that's when I kind of get different ideas and I write them down into my little brain dump section of this journal. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to come on because I think this is going to be a thing that I'm going to be doing in November, and I might do some update videos on how NaNoWriMo's going, but I'm really curious if any of you are also doing NaNoWriMo. Please let me know in the comments. If you are, maybe we can like be accountability partners together or something like that. So I printed this guy off. This is the NaNoWriMo Prep 101 workbook, and I should be like writing in it and filling it out, but I have not filled it out yet. I know Nano is like right around the corner, but I think I'm going to sit down and actually try to fill some of this stuff out and kind of translate it into here. But I feel like I'm rambling a lot. I will definitely leave the link down below to NaNoWriMo, to this workbook, and then there's like another, I pulled different things from different people. So for my setup, I was greatly inspired by Bohoberry and her journal setup from like 2000 something. It was a while ago. And so I will leave a link down below in the description box to that video, as well as a channel called Heart Breathings. I think the woman's name is Sarah Cannon, and she writes, she's a writer, and she does videos on writing and nano and everything like that. And so I will definitely leave the link down below to her channel as well, because I also utilize her channel to just sort of, just kind of I want to say, I guess, get advice for writing, or like how to prep your novel, how to format it, and all this stuff. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the journal. So this is my TN here, and again, it is a B6 Slim traveler's notebook, or roughly the size of a B6 Slim. I actually made this journal, and I think I have a setup video how I set it up to be a planner, but I actually never used that planner setup, so I kind of repurposed that setup for this writing journal. So a lot of these inserts are inserts that were in that setup that I just kind of didn't fill out, or kind of repurposed them, like this one. Since I made this one, I just kind of took out the pages that I used up and just kind of used the stuff that was left over, and yeah. So I don't have anything set up in my pockets or anything. There's some sticky notes here, and then this board with a paper clip that I just left there because it looks pretty. This first insert is one that I made. I repurposed it from my planner setup, and it just basically has some of my Stalgy, B6 Stalgy notebook paper. I kind of ripped the seams apart and pulled out the little signatures, and I just kind of sewed it up to this little paper. I had to trim it down a little bit so that it can fit into this slim size. And yeah, so this first notebook basically acts like, I guess, a reference notebook, or like, yeah, I guess a reference notebook. I think that's a good name for it. I've set it up sort of like a bullet journal, so I've dated all of my pages, and then every time I do something, I just kind of put the number of the page where it starts on and then what it is. And so I have an index here, and then I go to the first page, which is this chart of the 3 acts. So this is like the 3-act format for writing a novel or a story, or basically a story. And then I have some personality type bits here, and that goes over here, and then I have this chart. I basically was heavily inspired by Boho Berry and her setup, which I mentioned before, and I will leave the link down below to that video of hers, but this is like straight up Boho Berry setup here. And so that's all I have here, but every time that I come across a blog post or a YouTube video, because there's tons of YouTube videos on how to write or how to set up your novel and stuff like that, I will jot all that stuff in here and log it in the index. So that's what I mean by reference. This is more of like a writing reference insert. These next 2 inserts are actually made from Muji notebooks. These are they're newer gray notebooks, like the really nice ones with like the lines, but it also has lines going this way so it can be grid. I actually bought these when they started putting them out in the stores. They only had the A5 size. They didn't have B6, and I don't even know if they make these in B6. I think they do, but at the time they only had A5, so I bought 2, and I basically cut them down to this B6 Slim size. I do believe that they make B6 Slim, but like their Slim is really slim, so I think my inserts are more of like a personal wide. So anyway, I just cut them down, and then I covered them with some Maggie Holmes paper like this. And yeah, that's how I did both of them. So this one now is for my story. This is for my story. I mean, I haven't actually plotted anything for my story, obviously, but it's set up the same way, like a bullet journal. And you can see here, plot ideas, place settings, character and names. Basically, each page or each section is going to be that. So like once I have some plot ideas, I'll jot them down here. And then I already started my settings and some character names. And then after here, I'm going to do character profiles. So it's going to be like character profile, and then the character's name, and then their profile, and then I'll just log that in the index. And I'll tell you more how I'm using this when I talk about this, which I'll do right now. So this is another one of those Muji notebooks, and this one was originally in my planner setup before, so I just kind of transferred it here. So you see this chart again, but I decided to move that chart to that other insert. And this is sort of the brain dump notebook. And so this was the other story that I did for NaNoWriMo that I have like 20,000 words for. So I have some notes for it here, and I kind of split this signature in half. And so I started the notes for this newer story back here, which is fine. It's fine to have both. But basically this is a brain dump. So this is me just bullet point kind of writing down notes for this story. And I think that's how I'm gonna do this. I'm just kind of gonna brain dump all of my ideas here, and then once I have like solid concrete ideas that I want to work from, I'm going to transfer them into this signature into their appropriate page, you know, or appropriate heading or whatever. So I basically have like my setting and my places, so I kind of jotted them here. So anything that I just kind of think of, ideas and stuff, I'm just going to write them all into this signature, just, you know, without worrying if it's a good idea or not, or for fit or whatever. It's just a brain dump, that's where it goes. And then I'm going to sit, you know, kind of look over all of my notes in there and transfer them into this notebook. And so this is sort of like the permanent housing of my notes for my story. And so that's basically how I've set this up. It's very simple. Obviously, I haven't used it yet because I'm terrible at planning anything when it comes to like writing a story. But yeah, I wanted initially to set this up so that if I do participate in NaNoWriMo, and what I mean by that is like I actually go to the write-ins and stuff like that, I can have something to take with me. Because normally I like typing out my story, but I don't know, I don't like the idea of schlepping my laptop with me everywhere, so I figured if I have everything in here, I can just take this with me and just write in here. And so I have this extra elastic here, so I can realistically put another notebook in here and use that as my writing notebook, meaning the notebook that I will write my story in. So if I ever go to any of the write-ins or whatever, I can just take this with me. It has all my notes and everything, and then a notebook in which I can continue writing the story. And then I'll transfer it when I get home onto my laptop, onto the doc, like the Word doc or whatever. And so that is my idea, and this is my really basic setup for this journal here. Again, I will leave the links down below to anything that I mentioned in this video. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this look at my writing journal setup for NaNoWriMo. Hopefully I can get more stuff in here before NaNoWriMo starts and, you know, kind of get a jump start on my story. But yeah, I really hope this was helpful or interesting or whatever, and I really hope you enjoyed. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!